Hello, my name's Trey Wasser. I'm CEO of Dryden Gold Corp. Dryden Gold is recently listed on the TSXV. We have a very strategic land package in Northwest Ontario in the Dryden Camp, and we're exploring for high-grade gold.
Trey, love to see you, and exciting times because since I last saw you, you've actually listed. But I know you're not trading yet. What's going on?
Well, we were listed at last Friday, December 29th, and with an immediate halt. And the reason for the halt is that we had a fairly complicated structure in the RTO, and we had no shares outstanding to actually trade. So it was going to take the transfer agent 3 or 4 days to get those shares all out to the brokers and the individuals. So we are taking this week off with the trading halt to get those shares distributed so that we have good liquidity in the stock. And when it starts trading next Tuesday, January 9th.
Okay, so we'll look out for that. Now, the thing that kind of caught my eye was, and I think we talked about it last time you were on, was the quality of the people who've jumped aboard here. Not just on the public, but on the private side. So what is it you're saying to them that's resonating?
Well, I think it's two things, Matt. It's the quality of the property package. We've consolidated a very large land package in a camp that has a lot of high-grade gold on it, some really crazy high-grade gold, and it's just simply never been consolidated before. So people really like that idea of a new camp. The infrastructure is great. And then also the team that we've put together. You know, we have a team of directors that have all had experience in the M&A area and successfully built and sold companies and created shareholder value, as well as a very strong technical team in Maura and Anna, who have great experience in the district there.
Right. Okay. Just give me, I think, for the people new to this, remind us who has come aboard, because I think you're judged by the company you keep. So name drop some of those people, would you mind?
Well, yeah, we have attracted some of the top names in the junior mining or in the mining space period. In our private placement rounds, which we had one in October of this year, what we called our pre-IPO round. And Eric Sprott, Earth Labs, and we had brokers and bankers and analysts from 6 different Canadian firms. Then in the RTO round, which we just completed and raised $5 million, we had Rob McEwen came in, Peter Schiff's Europac Gold Fund, which is run by Adrian Day. Delbrook Capital did a large charitable flow through for us, and then many other names. So we just have a very strong group here, and then of course Alamos Gold is our largest shareholder because of their purchase of Manitou earlier this year. That's who we have made have an option agreement for the key property.
Okay, so obviously. Some big names in there. It's a small company for big names like that normally to dive in at this early stage. So I guess it's about the quality of the unusually high grade gold. Maura, jump in here if you can, please. You actually give people a little bit of background on yourself. Where have you come from?
Sure. Well, thanks, Matt. I actually worked in Northwest Ontario quite a bit. I was in Red Lake for about 8 years. I was the exploration manager at Gold Corp. So my background is really in these complex high-grade deposits and figuring out the structural controls on things so that you can go after the high-grade shoots. So when I spoke with Trey the first time and he said he had this property at Gold Rock Camp, I was like, oh, I've looked at that one before. The geometries are so similar to what I've seen in Red Lake and other camps like Timmins. There's huge potential here. So I couldn't resist joining the team and getting involved in this project. Even when we met with Rob McEwen, just kind of comparing the similarities to Red Lake, the crazy high grade that Manitou kind of hit by accident, that 53,000 gram per ton hit, And showing that kind of high grade gold, all you think of is, the high grade zone in Red Lake. So how do we unlock that? How do we figure that out?
Well, that must have been an interesting conversation. I mean, obviously, Rob, famously CEO of Gold Corp, who owned the project originally.
He did, exactly. He was just a little bit fuming. You could see that Gold Corp sold it. But, they were so busy with Red Lake at that time in the late 90s. So they had enough on their plate, but it really gives us a big opportunity because someone like that, they know that there's huge opportunity here. He's invested in the camp elsewhere too. On one of our cross structures, Dynasty Gold is on that further away. They have a small piece of property in the gold or in the Dryden Camp. And we really have the entire main shear zone structure.
Right. So if I look at, obviously you did a private round, $2 million back when we met in Beaver Creek around that sort of time. Just raised another $5 million in what has been a difficult year for most. Raising money was not easy for juniors, certainly not people just starting off. So have you been waiting for the listing to do anything? I mean, or have you been, busy on the ground? What's been going on?
Trey and I are a little bit ballsy, I would say. We decided, since we had the opportunity, most people were actually shutting down their drills. And I know really everyone in this area, we had an opportunity to get a drill on the property while we were doing the listing and while we were doing the raise for the RTO. So we've actually been able to drill 10 holes. We tested one of the main veins on the property, Big Master 1, and then we started testing one of the high-grade shoots to understand it better. So we're kind of halfway through the drill program. We did a little bit of a phase in November. Took a pause, again, because it's a slow period. We have this great luxury of doing things right. And then we did a little more drilling in December, and we're about to start up at the end of the week here with some more drilling.
Right, okay. Have you seen, or how are we going to see any assays coming back?
With the listing going on, we held assays for now. Visually, we were able to see the vein where we expected it, which was, really positive for first drilling on something that you haven't touched and felt yourself, and mineralization where we expected. So to me, it looks like we're on the right track, and we'll start seeing assays coming in soon. Also, assays coming back from the field program we did in the summer. We were kind of waiting on the geochemistry to wrap that all up and make some sense of it. So you'll see news flow soon with all of the work we've done.
Okay, fantastic. And I'm going to point people to a link below this video, which where Maura, you go through a couple of slides for us and so helps understand the expanse that you're dealing with. So You referenced there, you say there are people which hold who hold property in Dryden. Are you looking to pick up more property yourself, or have you got enough on your plate?
Well, we're always strategically looking for what makes sense. So we've picked up what we think is the main shear zone that should host all the high grade gold. So we're looking for any pieces along that. There are these other cross structures that we think are important for creating traps. And we've got our eye on a few areas there, but we're not looking to blow ourselves out and be too busy. We really want to keep this structured and attack the areas where we have brownfields opportunities, like at the old Gold Rock camp. We want to be able to, show we have resource and then kind of have these other greenfield targets. So always looking, but that's not our next big thing.
Not the next step. So in terms of the allocation of the capital, which, the $5 million that you've just raised and whatever was left of the private round, the planning for that, and in terms of how you target this drilling, the type of drilling that you do, is that on paper, or we're still kind of working through ideas?
It's really on paper in terms of what we want to go after. So we have this area called the Gold Rock Camp. It was historically mined, but piecemeal, lots of different players, and that's kind of been the curse of the Dryden Camp. Lots of different players, no one really bringing it all together. That's what we've done. So we're going to focus on that area. There's enough drilling there to probably already have an inferred resource, but we're going to infill that, better understand it, and really tackle the high grade. Figure out where it is, what's its orientation, and that's really our focus of our drill program.
Right. And if I'm looking back, because we're talking to all of our investors at the moment, one of the big things we're doing is saying to people, right, you need to have a review of your portfolio in 2023, and 2022. Work out what you did right, work out what you did wrong, and reassess. You likewise, you must have been looking at the market and thinking, there's a bunch of people who got it wrong, there's a bunch of people who got it right, and thinking, well, how do we come at this now? So have you thought about that, discussed how you play this? I might give that to Trey, actually, because it kind of fits in nicely with the the conversation you had around brokers and the brokers supporting it. You're going to need people behind you. So how do you play this, Trey?
You look, to be clear on this, I mentioned that we did about 1.4 million of this raise, RTO raise, as charity flow through. So we know that money is going into the ground and the drill program. We hope to add at least another million to that in exploration property wide, with the focus on the Gold Camp area in 2024. And with the program started and picking back up, we're going to have great news flow. So I think the market likes high grade right now, high grade stories. The similarities to this property, now that it's consolidated, and Red Lake and or Great Bear is really pretty stunning. The high grade gold that has been discovered there is amazingly high grade, so we think we have the right story for 2024, and we've set it up with the right shareholders that the market likes to follow, and a program that's going to be generating excellent news flow all throughout the year.
Okay. And if I look at, Maura mentioned it just now, is that you probably got enough historic data or got enough data there to actually put an inferred number down here, but you have to do some of your own heavy lifting too. So is there kind of rush to do that, or is it a case of, because of the high grade nature of this, it's fine is just do the drilling, get the assays out, get some high numbers out, and get the market excited about what could be? How quickly do you rush into putting a resource together?
I think in this kind of deposit, you don't want to rush to do it. You want to understand those geometries of those high-grade shoots anyway, because you can do it wrong really easily. And I've got a lot of expertise with these high-grade deposits and how you want to tackle them. So we're not in any rush to do that. We want to understand it. We want to show that there's more high-grade shoots on the property, so do some step-out drilling. But we're going to stay in this brownfields area because we think we have the opportunity to, again, turn that dial quickly.
The other thing, too, I'll add, Matt, is that, in this Gold Rock camp, we have 20 kilometers of strike. And all the drilling that's been done, what we're calling this high-grade zone, is on one little grouping of veins, the big master veins, over only a 1.5 kilometer strike. We have another, the El Oro vein, which also, we think has excellent potential. There was historic mining on that, in fact, the largest historic mine. And then we have all this strike length, just on the patents where we don't need permits, we've got 6 kilometers of strike. So we also want to show, we want to focus on that high-grade zone so that we're figuring that out, but we also want to show that this area could get much, much bigger.
Okay, and just one final piece before I let you go. Is the gold market last 3 years been pretty tricky, but the gold price has been accelerating through $2,000 certainly towards the end of last year. What's your view on gold as it pertains to being of interest to institutional buyers? Brokers, obviously, they'll come out for any party as long as they make some money. But what are the institutional guys saying to you? They're even the Rob McKeons of this world, the Eric Sprotts of this world. What do they expect? What do you expect for gold this year?
Well, I think that the fundamentals are starting to fall in place for gold to make a big move to new highs. I think that gold is still very underowned, and you see some smart money starting to move in there. You have issues with geopolitics that have kept I won't say a flight from the dollar, but certainly central banks are continuing to do a lot of buying. So there's plenty of demand. And on the stock side, gold stock investors are a bit frustrated here. The gold stocks are extremely underowned, and they're actually quite cheap given where the price of gold is. So at $2,000, these stocks are trading, like gold is at $1,500. So a lot of fundamentals falling in place for both gold and gold stocks this year.
Well, secret of most investing is good timing. I think you seem to be timing it well. So I appreciate you coming on, making time for us before you get back out in the field. Trey, thank you very much. Maura, love to see you as always, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Matt. Always great visiting with you and getting your people caught up on our story. For more information, they can certainly go to the website, www.drydengold.com. And also, just for your information, you can go to the website or look for a news release. We'll be doing a town hall on Monday, January 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can go to our website or off of our press release later this week, get the link there. And there you'll be able to hear the whole story with all the maps and pictures of the high-grade core and everything. So we'll encourage people to tune in there. And then, of course, then we'll be trading the next day on January 9th.